Hi everyone, this is my how to play video for my flip and write game called Scribe. I'm just demoing this in TTS. Yes. The core of the game is we're going to go through this deck of cards, and everyone is simultaneously going to do their actions based on two cards flipped. Once everyone's finished that action, these get discarded and two more cards come up. Now, the core of the game is players are going to either use write a hieroglyph from the top of one card and then perform the action on the bottom of the other card, or vice versa. Write this hieroglyph and then perform this action. As you can see, there are 6 different hieroglyphs that you can write in here. There is 5 different colors. Hopefully it's colorblind friendly. There's also a grey or empty box that will be able to be written in from any color. The main ways to score points in this game is from objectives. So there'll be 3 random objectives that appear, that you draw at the start of the game. These will score points in various different ways. From your god board, everyone will have the same god board. Each of these have a different puzzle. As you can see, there's a wide variety that you can play with, but all these trigger off the one action at the bottom of a card and score points in different ways. And the other main way is to match hieroglyphs on your board to these outer hieroglyphs. So if I was to play this one here and here, I would look at your multiplier for the scoring and then add up how many matches from the outside to the ones you write on the board. This one being on the crossroads of here and here would score twice. Yes. There's also leftover points you can get from accumulating hieroglyphs in your palette. These will help you manipulate your future turns. And there's 3 points for every scarab you have left over. Scarabs help you block having to cross out boxes from the nasty uh, god god cards. I can't remember what they're called. So I could cross out a hieroglyph instead of having to cross out a spot in column 4, sorry. Um, so with that, I'm going to explain the 5 different actions available, which are here. This one here is associated with your god action. So for each god, there should be an explanation of what that action will do. So in Thoth's case, depending on what you write, so if these 2 were here, I would use the ferns on yellow, and based off that, I can cross off a square that matches. So I could cross off a yellow or a fern. Yep, and the idea is you want to complete these rows. Every square crossed off will gain 2 points anyway, but if you finish a row, you get these bonuses. Most of these are points. There are some bonus actions you can take if you want to do the easier ones. So that's the god action. This one here is the scarab action. So once again, this helps for protection. So you grab a scarab and just place it on here. If you want to use a scarab instead of crossing out an X in future turns, you just color this in to indicate it has been used. All unused scarabs at the end is 3 points, as mentioned before. This one here is drawing a second hieroglyph from the first one you drew within the 8 surrounding spaces. So once again, if I was to do this one and this one, I would draw a fern and say yellow, and then I could do any of the 8 surrounding. Obviously there's only 3 here, but I could put a fern there if I wanted to. I'm going to explain this one first. This one is increase your multiplier for the bonus rows and columns around the outside. So what I would do is I would increase the multiplier for the pyramids. And now for every pyramid I have in this row and column at the end of the game would be 2 points instead of 1. And finally is adding hieroglyphs to your palette, which is this area here. So for this one, you will gain the squiggly lines and the ink. And what happens in a future turn is you can, once again, remove having these, your storage of your palette, the hieroglyph, to either change the top hieroglyph. So for instance, I could color this in to draw an ankh instead of a fern. Or for instance, or the other alternative is I could rub this out to change the color. So this is supposed to be in a green squiggly. I could change this to be, say, a purple squiggly and put this here instead. Yeah, so they're all the main actions, all are quite valuable in different ways. Additionally to that, there are bonus actions that you can take. The first one is associated with the rows and columns around here. So if you were to finish a row with hieroglyphs, it doesn't matter which ones, you can perform this action. So once again, you color it in to only be able to do it once. This performs a god action with any, effectively a wild god action. This is a scarab, so gain a scarab. This one is draw a hieroglyph anywhere of your choice. This one is increasing any multiplier of your choice. This is getting any two hieroglyphs to your palette. And this is just an extra 5 points at the end of the game. So any of these bonus points you get will just be calculated here. Other places to score bonus points. If you go to your multiplier, sorry, I'm jumping around. So if I was to do this one, all your pyramids are now 3, but instead of doing 4 for the next one, you would do a god action instead, wild god action. And then if you want the fourth one, then it would be circling this for 4 times your pyramid score. So that's that one. There's also accumulating hieroglyphs on your palette. So if you were to collect enough hieroglyphs on your palette to finish a row, they can be used or unused. You will get this 5 points at the end of the game. Some god boards will have their own, as mentioned here. If I was to cross off, say, these two, I need to adjust the stat points, I will get this action, which is once again the same as this. So increase the multiplier of one of your hieroglyphs of your choice. This one getting a scarab and 5 points for this god board. The final way to get bonus actions is these objective cards. So you always get the points at the end. So for every adjacent pair of these, so let's do, as an example, this and this, that is one adjacent pair. You can never use the same one more than once, so I couldn't use this as 2, it certainly counts as 1. But if I was to complete 4 of these pairs, I would get a free god action. This one here, 3 points for different hieroglyphs in red squares. So we get an eye. That wouldn't count because they're the same. But if I was to do an ankh, ferns, for example, they're all different and they would score points each. and this one is 11 points per set of matching hieroglyph in that shape. So that one could be tricky. I'll just move stuff around. So that would be that one shape. And if you get to 2, you get those bonuses, and 4 of these, you get that bonus. Yep, so the final thing is, as mentioned, there'll be 9 of these cards throughout the deck when you start. So these will either be columns or color based. So you must cross out a spot or use a scarab to protect yourself. There is a few rules when placing these. So for instance, the greens, you have to put it in a green. You can overlap a hieroglyph you've previously drawn. You won't get points at the end of the game, but it won't affect if you finish the row, say, getting this bonus. So you can place one there, for instance, in an empty spot or over a hieroglyph. It's your choice. However, you can't place anything directly adjacent to one you've already placed. So not diagonals, but I couldn't place another X here, 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 or here. So for instance, if I was to draw this 4, I would not be allowed to place one here, here, or here. I'd have to draw or place an X either here, here, or here, or cross off a scarab. Yes, so get to final scoring, already kind of mentioned that. You'll get points for your 3 objectives, which are listed here. If you are to get the bonus, you would circle this spot here to indicate you've already used that once. You'll get points for your god, so calculate each one individually, and then this total will be put here. Any bonus points from wherever you get. Then you add up your your matching hieroglyphs times the multiplier, and add them down here. For every unused hieroglyph in your palette, you'll get 1 point for every 2 you haven't used, rounded up. So at the moment this will be 2 points because I have 4 unused. And then for your scarabs, you get 1 point for every 3. 3 points for every 1 you haven't used. So I haven't used this one, which will be 3 points. And then you total up your score. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game will be the winner. I think there is some thresholds for a solo game as well in the rulebook, but I can't remember exactly what they are. Yep, so I'm just going to quickly now just do setup. Now you know all the rules. So first of all, you're going to do 3 different objectives from this list. You can see that they're labeled A, B, C, and D. You can't have 2 of the same letter. If you do, you just shuffle and replace. They all have their own kind of variations of what they do. Yep, so you get that. Then you create the deck. So you're going to remove 18 cards. Wrong pile. So 18 cards won't be played each game. And then you've got to split this into 3 cards of 14. And then to each of these piles, you're going to add 3 of these chaos cards. Shuffle each pile and then stack them together. And then the game will end once the deck runs out. As mentioned, you've got to flip 2 cards. Everyone simultaneously will perform the action. And then once everyone's finished, they go to the discard pile. And then 2 more cards come out. If there's ever a situation where the second or the first card is a chaos card, everyone must deal with this first before the next card will come out. Sometimes 2 chaos can come in a row. And then you can perform the action with these 2 cards. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this explains the majority of the game. Um, there's a decent amount of variability with whichever god you pick, the cards you discard, the objectives you have. Um, thank you.